Welcome in, NeckUp Live fans. We're here for the, it's already week 4, so we're here for the week 4 Roundup on NeckUp Live. I'm your host. I got my name right this week. I am Rob Will, along with Will Rob, who you'll see. He's down there. Where's he at again? There he is, right there.
Okay.
And over here to this side, we have a special guest tonight, Dingo the Wise, from the Wise town of Muletown area, but Memphis, especially Memphis. So let's get started. Let's jump right into week 3 results. So we had Green and Manchester going at it. Green unable to get the win this week at Manchester. Manchester wins that one 28-21. And then East, you know, I was repping East last week, and I picked them to win over Miller, but they couldn't pull through. Miller got the win 20-0. So East not able to get on the board there. They've got a couple guys injured and out, a couple key players, so we look for East to get back into the mix later in the season. We had Notre Dame. They were hosting Fisher Catholic. Fisher Catholic got a big win there, 31-16. Waverly versus Unioto was a little bit of a surprise to me. Waverly was hosting Unioto. Unioto got the win 20-14 over Waverly.
Wow.
Jackson at Wheelersburg. Wheelersburg really needed that big key signature win. Didn't get it. Jackson was able to win 28-24. This was a game, and a lot of games Friday night were delayed by weather and continued on Friday. This one was a tie ball game, you know, at the delay in the second quarter at 0-0. So at the end of the game, it was just back and forth. Wheelersburg brought in a freshman quarterback at one point. He launched it. Had a perfect, beautiful pass over the middle. They scored a touchdown, took the lead. Then Jackson took the ball and just drove down the field, used up all the clock at the end of the game, and punched it in at the end to get the win. So it was just a great high school football game, but Jackson able to come away with the win in that one. So Wheelersburg falling to 0-3. And then we had the signature game last week was Ironton versus Cabell Midland. That one was played at Marshall Thundering Herd Stadium. And Cabell Midland didn't bring much, guys. They didn't bring much at all. Ironton 63, Cabell Midland 7. So kind of a waste of that turf, really, for that kind of game result. But good job there by Ironton, getting the big win in the big time. So then we had Portsmouth at Greenup. And Will, you want to key us in on that game a little bit?
Yeah, well, so Portsmouth at Greenup. First of all, I got to tell you, Greenup has some big bodies out there. I don't know if it's the Kentucky-style teams or what, but there's some big boys, big targets out there. Portsmouth's first drive, they stopped Greenup before the delay. And their first drive, they were driving before they called the game, and it was looking very convincing. Portsmouth coming out that night. There's a fire in them that I could see in pregame and at the start of the game. But the next day, I don't know if the atmosphere was not the same. The energy was not the same, but Greenup, I mean, they brought their A game. It was the passing game that destroyed Portsmouth, and Portsmouth's lack thereof of completions, a lot of incomplete passes. The running game was, I don't want to say it was shut down, but it was kept at bay, if you will. And Greenup just was the better team that day. So back to the drawing board. Portsmouth lost the Battle of Ohio, or the Battle of Southern Ohio, whatever it is, the river rivalry.
So Greenup owns the river for a little while anyway. That's how that goes.
Yeah, that's how it goes. Portsmouth gets his first loss.
I got to tell you, they are excited in Greenup County about football this year, so they've got a lot going well over there. So, you know, hats off to Greenup for getting that. That's a big win to get.
They got a great program over there. They're doing big things.
Absolutely. And you brought up a good point about the mentality, you know, the kind of the mood changing from Friday night to the Saturday night. And we talk about that here on NeckUp Live about, you know, the mental game as well. So
yes,
you spend all week building up to that Friday night, and, you know, mentally that's that's a big challenge, and that's just a set routine that you have to build yourself up to that Friday night. Then all of a sudden they pull the plug on it. It's really hard to restart that same attitude, same mentality again on Saturday. So, hats off to the guys that can do it. And I'm sure if you were doing the book, the NeckUp checkup, and the routine, they'd probably help you through that. So that could definitely be a helper there, right? So then we had Memphis at Wellston, and this is a traditional annual game, right, Dingo?
Yes, it is.
So they play pretty well every year. It's a big rivalry. I think Memphis probably has won the most of these games, but in this case, it was Wellston 37 and Memphis 14. Dingo the Wise, what are your thoughts on that game?
Well, I'll tell you right now, Dingo the Wise has an unwise sentence here, and that is, I'm kind of at a loss of words. I kind of hope for a tighter game. Like you said, it's always a good rivalry game for us, but it's one of those things where we have to keep our heads up, move on to the next one.
That's right. So it is, that's a little lopsided game there, unusual for that matchup. So Falcons are scratching their heads a little bit, as well as, Wheelersburg scratching their heads at 0-3. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more in detail as we go. But another big game from the weekend, Oak Hill and Rock Hill, the Battle of the Hills.
Wow.
The Hill is owned by Rock Hill as they won 41-38. I just noticed on my notes here I had that backwards, but that was Rock Hill winning that one over Oak Hill 41-38 as Rock Hill goes to 3-0. West traveled up that route we talked about last week. I think they went up Route 125 and then 124.
Yeah.
Ended up in Hillsboro, but they went up there and they got the big win at Hillsboro, 27-21. So big win for West. That was a much more pleasant ride home, with the victory. And then Northwest, really with the blowout of the week, Northwest 43 at Huntington Ross 6. So great big win by Northwest. They're getting excited about football out there for sure. The new turf out there, new stadium. So they've got a big game coming up this week that we'll be talking about in just a minute. And to round things off for last week, we had Valley and Piketon. Piketon gets the win 25-14. So after week 3, we have some standings for you. Will, you want to run us through those standings?
Yeah, so after week 3, we got the mighty Ironton Tigers at 3-0. Rock Hill, where they're very excited out there this year. There's a lot of buzz out there. They are also 3-0, and they're hype out there in the Hill. So Waverly, Portsmouth, Jackson, Northwest, and Piketon are all 2-1. Portsmouth suffering its first loss at Greenville, as we spoke of. And then right behind them was Green, Oak Hill, and Notre Dame, along with West getting their first win of the season at 1-2. And then Berg, East Valley, and Memphis are still waiting to get on the winning columns, my man. This is unheard of. The mighty Memphis Falcons, Falcon1.netters, bro, and the mighty Berg. It is hard to fathom, but this is going to change this week.
It could change this week. Some big games for all of them, but, they've got big opponents, too, that are just as hungry to get those wins.
Yes.
So let's go into week 4's games. Wow. So Waverly and Valley. Waverly obviously coming off a loss there, an unexpected loss to Unioto. Valley struggling this season, so we'll just wait and see what happens in that one. West versus Chillicothe. West coming off that big win, going up a little bit to the northwest last week. This week they're going straight up north to Chillicothe. Chillicothe always has a pretty good program. Great coach up there, so we'll see what West can do. I'd love to see them bring home a victory and get their record to an even 2-2. Then we have Rock Hill against Fairland. That's a big one because both teams are 3-0, and they are in the the same conference there, I believe. So that's a big conference game. Rock Hill and Fairland, both 3-0. That's got to be our game of the week. Portsmouth versus Gallia Academy. So Portsmouth going in after the loss, taking on Gallia Academy, who is 0-3. So Portsmouth looking to get back on the winning track there. Hopefully they can do it. They're at home this week, right, Will?
Yes, we are. Military Appreciation Night.
Very good. Good to know that. So get out there and support your Trojans. Cheer them on in a positive manner, as we always say. Jackson versus Western Brown this week. Western Brown is 3-0. I think they normally are 3-0 going into this Jackson matchup. So we'll see how that one comes out. Jackson with an obviously good team. Just struggled a little bit against Ironton, and who hasn't?
Yeah.
But we're able to get the win against Wheelersburg. And then Ironton takes on St. Francis, New York. St. Francis, New York is 1-0, and that's the only thing I know about them. I look for Ironton to just pour the cold to them, so to speak. And then Green versus Racine Southern. Racine Southern comes in the game 1-2. I look for Green to get back on top, back on the winning ways. They can get a win here, get their season back to 500 for Coach Larry Hall. Then East is at Manchester this week. Manchester is 2-1 as they got the win over Green last week. So this will be a tough game again for East. I'm going to cheer them on. I hope they can go down east, or west of West Portsmouth, and get a victory.
Yep.
Then we've got Notre Dame versus Lockland. I don't know anything about Lockland, but I know they're 0-3, so Notre Dame's got a shot right there. Notre Dame, we hope you get a big win there. And then Piketon versus Huntington Ross. We know Huntington Ross got walloped last week by the Mohawks of Northwest. So I look for Piketon to come out on top of that one. And then we've got the one we really need to talk about. Oak Hill at Memphis. Dingo, what does Memphis need to do to get back in the winning category, to get in the winning category at all? I mean, there's a goose egg there right now, right? So what's the mentality need to be to get back on top?
Well, it's rough for any team to start down 0-3 and try and look forward to the next one. So for me, if I'm part of that team, if I'm leading that team, we got to find an identity. We come off double-digit losses back-to-back weeks. We got to find something that works for us. Maybe this week playing Oak Hill. I know it's going to be a rough game. It's always a tough game with them, but maybe hosting at home, it gives us a little bit of a morale boost, and hopefully just can start to glue those pieces back together to get back to a winning football team.
No doubt. So that's right. You got to establish an identity, find out who you are. Now we've had 3 weeks. We've been whipped 3 weeks in a row. So, and I've got to speak for Wheelersburg here too, because they're 0-3 as well starting out. So you've got to have a mentality of it happened, but we've got to learn from it. So you've had time to figure out who you are. You've got a lot of losses to look at, a lot of film to review to find out really who you aren't, which will help you find who you are. So, adjustments will be made. The mentality, I don't think, will change a lot when it comes to Wheelersburg. I think it's pretty even keel, but I do think going into Northwest this week, they've got to travel out to Northwest. Northwest is riding high after that big win last week. This is not going to be a walkover for Wheelersburg, as you would expect in a Northwest Wheelersburg game. I don't think it will be. I think this will be a battle. I think Wheelersburg's going to have to play a good game and be mentally prepared to go out there and fight to get this win and stay away from being 0-4, because 0-4 and then facing Harvest Prep after that is going to be rough. So, Wheelersburg, let's get it going. Let's get it together. Let's pick it up. Let's find out who we are, and let's roll with it, baby. We can do it.
Yep.
So any last words? Will, I got to get back to you real quick. So today you were coming home from work just a little bit ago, actually. So what were you doing?
I got to tell you, Rob, I put out some legendary lasagnas today.
Nice.
And if you were lucky enough to get a lasagna dinner from Keeney's Kitchen, a Will Robinson special, you were blessed. I've been getting texts all night long from happy campers that have said it is the best they've ever had. And I am pumped up and ready to go.
Nice. I know you make some amazing lasagna. You hooked me up before. So, man, that is delicious. Dingo, any last words for you tonight before we check out?
No, I got to say, good luck to everyone in here that is 0-3. You know, we got a ways to work up. We all can't be in the winning square down there at the bottom, but
that's right.
But if you're 0-3, you get in that KneckUp journal, and it'll show you how to keep your composure and where to go from here. That's why you got to be able to manage your emotion. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Yep.
So visit KneckUp or check up kneckup.com. That's check up KneckUp with a K for the knowledge that you can gain. So check it out. The book's on there. It's on Amazon. Everybody, we appreciate you tuning in this week. Again, we'll be back next week for week 5 to talk about the results and the upcoming games. Dingo, thanks for coming on this week.
Hey,
Will, thanks again. We appreciate it.
My main man.
Everybody.
Peace.